Hi everybody, it's fallingstardusk and I'm here today with a line art tutorial. Not so much the line art itself, but how to ink using Paint Tool SAI and what brushes that you can use, or what brushes I like to use. And if you want to experiment, I will give you a couple of tips and tricks on what you can do as far as that goes. You can't see my menus because of the way XSplit sets up, but top left hand corner, if you go to File and then New, your canvas can go anywhere between 1,000 to like 5,000 or like 5,000 by 5,000, but right now I'm using 1,000 by 1,000 since that's what I've been working with for icons. And it starts you out with a brand new blank layer. That layer is generally what I start my sketch on, but this is about line work, so I'm gonna go straight to that. I flip-flop between using pencils and marker. Pencil, you'll see, it is a solid line. Pressure sensitivity affects the ends where it tapers off. The other thing that really affects the line work here is your stabilizer. Stabilizer is your friend. I cannot emphasize that enough. I think that's the most often asked question that I get is, how do I get my lines so neat? The stabilizer, it has an option from 0 to S7. The lower the number, the less the program is going to adjust for you. So 0 looks like this. Gross, right? S7 looks like this. The difference is in how fast or how slow it allows your pen to go, which it then adjusts as it goes. And that's why it goes so slow, is it's trying to adjust based off your movement. I personally have been working with between S2 and S3. Now on occasion I will use S6 because it is slower, but it also allows me to get a better line. Alright, so the next one is the marker. The marker tool is actually my preferred tool for inking as well as sketching because of the line opacity. So what happens when you use the marker tool is the pressure sensitivity not only affects how it tapers at the end, but it also affects the opacity of the line itself. So where I didn't press as hard, it's a little bit lighter, versus where I did press hard, it's darker. Now, the thing about this that I really like, and the reason why I like it, is it's easier to tell if you set the line work to multiply, but if you color underneath these lines, the lines appear to be colored without you having to do this, which is you hit preserve opacity, which locks that layer, and it allows you to only manipulate what's already on the layer. So when I color, it's just going to affect this, and I get to do that. And I can change the color, but when I color underneath that line, it not only makes it appear to be that color, but it allows me to avoid having to go to the extra step of coloring the lines themselves. The only bad part about this is that when you do, I will show you the differences between the two lines when you color. So this is your pencil and this is your marker. When you color using these two, you see how the color went right up to the edge. There's no like little areas or anything that you have to color in or add to, whereas with the marker you can see where the edges didn't quite go all the way because of that opacity. The very opacity that I love, that allows me to be a little bit lazy, is still technically making me do work because I still have to color up to the edge. Those are the only differences. Now, you could say that if you like the colored line look, having to color underneath by hand is almost exactly the same amount of work as if you hit preserve opacity over here and had to go and color these lines. Because if you think about it with a picture, you've got the hair, you've got the skin, and so you're having to go and do, and you can either put the lines on separate layers, or you can make it one layer and just make sure you don't color it too bad. So the marker tool is actually what I like to use for sketching and for inking. And to give you an example of a sketch that I've done before, this is a sketch that I used. I cleaned it up and I used it as my lines. One thing I will note about line work in SAI, this is a little extra tip for anybody who is looking to color a picture that's already been, or lines that have already been saved. I'm gonna reopen it because I already did it that last time. All right, so initially my lines were purple, and when I try to color it, it doesn't do anything because when it saved my initial sketch, it compressed it, so it's a flat image right now. And you can't see my thing, but if you go up to layer, up here at the top, and go all the way down to the middle, there's an option called luminance to transparency. If you do that, your line layer then becomes like a transparent image, and you can color underneath. So keep that in mind whenever you save your line work. It is not it's not damaged forever. You know, you don't have to hit multiply and try to finagle things. You just luminance to transparency and you're good to go. Also, the same avenue of coloring lines with that line work, since it changed my color when I converted it. If you hit preserve opacity and then use your pencil tool, really big one because you're just trying to color the lines, and you color over it, that converts your lines back to the color that you had it before you did the conversion. So there's that. That's it for this video. The next video I'm going to do is going to be about coloring, which is coming up next. Thank you all for listening in. You can, if you have any questions, you can submit them in the comments, but your best bet to get a hold of me is at fallingstardusk on Twitter, or fallingstardusk.com, or fallingstardusk@gmail.com. Any three of those, and I will answer you almost within the hour unless I'm sleeping. So if not, give me 24 hours. But I hope that answers everything. If you have any other questions, or if you'd like another tutorial on something else SAI related, I would be more than happy to go over any questions or concerns that you might have. Again, you can find me at fallingstardusk on Twitter, or fallingstardusk@gmail.com.